What's up, everybody? Welcome to a post-game edition of Touchdown Texas. I'm your host, Shiva Patel, and my co-host here, Nick Rodriguez. Unfortunately, we're coming off a Texas loss to Ohio State, 14-7. It was a good game, but Texas fell short. How you doing, Nick?
I'm crushed. I'm crushed. I'm working with TikTok over here, so that's why I'm a little distracted. Crushed. Not the way we wanted the game to end, but we showed some fight yesterday, and we forget how good Ohio State is as a program. And I would forget that as a kid, and yeah, it's just tough. Let's get into this. Let's get into the
For sure, and be sure to follow us on our social media channels at touchdown_Texas, and also like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm here at Botica at the Texas Watch Party in Atlanta, Georgia. We had a lot of fun. A lot of Texas fans showed up, and we're streaming, Nick, now on TikTok as well as YouTube. This is a live stream. This is me and Nick are just checking it out for this season. Be sure to put your comments in the chat section below, and we will feature it on this show. So let's get to the game, Nick. Let's start with our quarterback, Arch Manning. He had a little bit of a rough game today. 17 of 30, 170 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Give me a grade. How do you think he played today?
It's probably a C+. Not great. Turned the ball over. Looked kind of nervous a little bit. But as the game waned and went on, he started to play a lot better. There was just so many crucial missed opportunities that really cost us the game here. I mean, both defenses were phenomenal. Just knocked them a little bit just because on that fourth and goal couldn't do it. 4th and 5 to end the game here. Couldn't get a great pass to Ryan Wingo. Actually, that was 35. That led to a 45. But yeah, kind of sloppy. But you'd expect that in his first road start against now the best team in the country. Plus, but I have no doubt he's going to rebound. We still saw flashes of greatness.
We did. He overall struggled during the day. I would give him a B minus, but I just think he had some nice throws. His wide receivers didn't catch the ball sometimes, and he put it in the right locations. Just at times, though, the inaccuracy showed a little bit, especially in those crucial down instances in third down when you need to lead your wide receiver to get yards. And at times, he also was able to sling the ball and show his accuracy, but he just needed to be a little bit more consistent. Like early in the game, I think he was struggling, but then the second half, he started getting into a rhythm. That was a really nice pass throwing to Parker Livingstone for a touchdown. That was a great throw, great catch. I thought he should have used his legs a little bit more. He ran 10 times for 38 yards, but his legs were working at times. And I know we don't want to feature quarterback run game, but that's how we can open up the offense and get him going. But, this is the first game, first time he's on the road, his first season starting. I don't think he's the reason we lost the game, but also when we needed to make plays, he didn't make those plays when we needed to.
I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, there was just again we struggle in the red zone. It's a team that is it's making it difficult to win some of those games. Last year was I think we'll get better with those sort of play calls. Sheehan had to drop out for a second, but just kind of continuing with that. Just couldn't score when we needed to, and that 4th and goal play was pretty difficult. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can fix that before we play Florida, and then right after that we're playing Oklahoma. So this schedule doesn't have too many breaks in it, except for right now we get a bit of a break. But yeah, playing that right there was a bit tough. The turnover was tough, but to flip it, I thought the running backs popped. C.J. Baxter looked really well. Trey Wisner looked really well. Those are two backs that I think are going to be very helpful for us. But we'll see how this goes. I still have a ton of faith in him, and I think he'll be great for the rest of the season. it's just one of those things that sometimes when you play a big opponent like that, it can be difficult. But going to the defensive side of the ball, though, I do think that it helps to see them shut down Julian Sayin pretty much for a lot of it. He did have a great drive, and they went all the way down the field, and they ended up scoring. But held that offense in check for the most part, which kept the Texas team in it for a lot of things, and that is super, super, super helpful. I thought the receivers could have been a little bit better. Ryan Wingo started to come on a little bit later. Parker Livingston obviously has the touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter to close it to a 7-point game. But, tough way to kind of bounce here as we lose to start the season and go 0-1. Our first group was 22. Stevens back. Yeah, I was kind of going over some of our positives. Defense was good.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry about that, guys. We are having some technical difficulties. Defense was amazing. I think the defense was flying around the football. They had a lot of tackles for loss. Leona Lafau, 9 total tackles. Our secondary was really, really good today, and they kept us in the game. They kept their wide receivers at bay, Ohio State's, and they were the reason that this game was even close. And they made life tough on Jeremiah Smith. He didn't have the typical game. He only had 6 catches for 43 yards. Carnell Tate only had 2 catches for 49 yards. So I was impressed by this defense, and I think they're going to be the catalyst for this team. There's one thing I wish the defense did better was create a turnover. I think if they would have created a turnover, this game would have been different. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I do. I think it just comes down to capitalizing on opportunities that we couldn't capitalize on. And that hurt. And you were just not able to score when you could. In the red zone, but defensively, an A+. Their first touchdown, they drive all the way down the field. They take the 14 goal play that without a block from that football. Pull back. We stopped that play. I thought Colin Simmons was very disruptive. I didn't hear a lot of Anthony Hill, but I did think through and big plays made. Yeah, turnover would be really insane. Almost cost him the game. He throws the ball about 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. He throws the ball instead of running and sliding. So the top one kept running. Ultimately it didn't matter because we get the ball and we try to move it. We do a little, or we do a lot actually with some big passes from Mark, but I think the defense is able for us. 2 touchdowns allowed, and they were both incredible plays. I mean, one is that 4th and goal. He doesn't make that block. He's stuck, and we're at the 1, and who knows what happens. And then the other one, of course, that is crucial is that catch. Didn't play the ball, like you said. Which is tough, and he still dropped it time again. So that was tough. But again, we hold Jeremiah Smith to minimal damage. He did a lot more than he did in the previous game against the school. We didn't let the running back stay at the first half, so we don't lose by double digits. So our defense really kept us in it. Our offense is going to get there. I have no problem with that. I do like the play calling overall. I like how PK got more aggressive as the game went on. Like, let's battle this kid. But overall, A+. I think this is the number 2 team defensively. They're damn good. Julius Hand looks good. I think he's going to be incredible by the end of the year. It's been hard. Okay, he looked fine at times. He's so flat how good he's going to be. But this team for both teams. So, and we both overestimated that. It's going to pick the lower score. We thought they'd be more comfortable. But the defense won this one.
Yeah, so our defense, I thought our defensive tackles could have got more pressure on Julian Sayin without PK having to blitz. So I think PK realized that. So he's like, okay, we may need to take we may need to take some chances and blitz, and at times that put our secondary in jeopardy. But we played that three safety look with Derek Williams, Michael Tapp, and Jelani McDonald, and that three safety look it caused some problems for Ohio State. I just think that their running back C.J. Donaldson had 67 yards, I believe, and he did break some tackles more in the second half. And once they got their running game going, that put less pressure on Julian Sayin and put him in more advantaged third down opportunities, short yardage opportunities that helped them move the ball down the field when they needed to. But this defense is not going to be a problem. They're going to be amazing. In my opinion, our two superstars were a little quiet, Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons. You don't like to see that, but it was just the first game. I think those guys. I think we know our rotations now. We know which guys we can put in certain situations, and who can we trust. And they're going to be a lot better for sure. And our pass rush, there's no reason to concern for a pass rush. They're going to cause a lot of havoc. It's just that Ohio State's offensive line played a lot better than we thought they would. And our pass rush, 99% of the time, is going to be able to get to the quarterback on any other team. So that shouldn't be a concern at all. So I don't know if I heard your grade for the defense, Nick, but I would give the defense a B+. I played especially at the end of the game when we should have, but encouraged. That's point. I wanted to make a point about the offense. I thought in the second half we didn't run the ball with our running backs as much as we should have. 16 carries for 80 yards. CJ back. At times, I was actually getting a lot of push and putting a lot of pressure on Ohio State. And our offensive line, they were giving Arch Manning time, actually, on a ferocious Ohio State pass rush. Yes, and they were creating rush lanes as well, in my opinion, for our running backs. I thought they went to the ball too much with the passing game. I would have liked us to be a little bit more balanced offensively. I just think the offense is going to get better as we go. But right now, it's fair to say, Nick, we are a defensive-first team, and that's how we're going to win games this season until our offense gets up to speed.
This really makes me feel better about games later in the season. This makes me feel better about playing in Georgia. Again, we neutralized Jeremiah Smith. So if we're going to talk about something positive, he didn't do a ton. Cardinal Hay had the touchdown, which was like an incredible play. Even though our defensive back didn't play it great, he covered well. He dropped him, and we're down 14-0 in the fourth quarter, and it was miserable. But we turn around and show the goodness. He doesn't hang his head with the and I agree. I think the difference between with the game, I think we got a little nervous, or like we got away from it a little bit too much. Is the tight end. You saw how effective Jack Reed was once he started getting the ball. And I don't want people to say that, oh, he's overrated, Texas dogs, this, that, and that. You're going to get it either way, right? Yeah. You would get that if we won and saying Ohio State. Both of these teams are Titans. We lost to a really, really, really good team. We're still a really good team. So I think we get the tight end involved more. This has me more confident playing other teams because I think, this would be a team that could face the national championship game. And as I said in the live, I think we might be the two best teams in the country. We are not both of us to what we're going to be in January. But I think Jack injured. You said pregame, Parker Livingstone. And you could tell how much he loves those guys, and they became safety blankets. But you wish you could have gotten them more opportunity. Ryan Wingo, DeAndre Moore, they're pretty quiet most of the game, and they popped off a little bit at the end. But we play a team that doesn't have as well of a defense. They're going to get torched. I'm thinking about Florida. Obviously, I'll be different with Georgia because they're loaded defensively. But they have the offense to keep up. I think by the time we play Georgia, Kentucky, and A&M, talk about later in the season, our offense is improving. I do agree that it's going to be a defensive battle right now. But I'm not worried at all. I actually feel pretty good despite a loss. Don't get me wrong. I'm pissed off. I think we should have won. But we didn't play well enough to win. And that's true. Let me ask you, thoughts on the no safety ball where Colin Simmons, who did get good pressure, pressured Julian Saban. They call, hands to face. While he's being held. What do you think about that? What would have negated, that penalty would have given us a safety there instead of 2 games?
I just think in a scenario like that, when you're getting held, this hands to the face should be negated, because what are you supposed to do when you're getting held? How are you going to get the guy off of you, right? Like, I did not think that should have been offsetting penalties. We would have gotten the safety. Our pass rush started getting to Julian Sayin much more, which was encouraging. Lafau, shout out to Leon and Lafau, had a big game at linebacker. I want to talk about also Derek Williams coming back from the major injury. Great game. Taft was really good. Jelani McDonald was hitting people. What about the true freshman, number 29, Grayson Littleton? As a true freshman, he had a PBU on Jeremiah Smith, and he even had another PBU, but it got negated because of a Colin Simmons face mask penalty. So our young guys, the snake was not too bright for them. They played really, really well, and we're going to keep playing more guys on defense. Like, Gilbo was really good. Muhammad was sticky in coverage. Even Kobe Black, number 6, he got into the game. He was amazing. Our secondary is not a problem. Our young guys on defense look like they're ready to play and ready to contribute. And going back to the offense, one other point, I'm glad you talked about Jack injuries, because he started getting more touches in the second half. I just think in the first half, Sark has to have a balance, because he knows Arch Manning loves to throw the ball deep, and he's good at it. But also, he cannot forget the Texas offense's bread and last year was the intermediate play. So we needed to do more crossing routes, more curl routes to get Arch Manning going, because Ohio State was playing the 2 deep safety look, which in the past has been a kryptonite under Sark, and we couldn't negate that enough by running the ball. So another way to negate that is through the intermediate passing game, and we started doing it more in the second half. We should have done it, but we know for sure that Endries and Parker Livingstone are Arch's 1 and 2 guys that he loves to throw the ball to. He's gonna have to get things going a little bit with DeAndre Moore and Ryan Rigo, but I was impressed with Endries. He can break tackles. He has a good catch radius. Parker Livingstone, he was getting held on that play multiple times, and he still went up and caught the ball, because he's a 6'4" wide receiver that can run. Another positive. CJ Baxter looked really good running the ball. He looked smooth. No leaper. Right. I thought Weisner looked better in the second half, but CJ Baxter was a better running back in the first half. So we really do have a 1A, 1B running back group. I don't think Jared Gibson or Christian Clark got any other carries. I think it was just those 2 guys. Also, I want to give a shout out to CJ Baxter. You see that block that gave Arch Manning time to that pass to Endries? That's why he started as a true freshman. He could run the ball, go through 0 to 100. He's also not afraid to pass blocker. Was played really well. And yeah, this offense, I'm not worried. But these next 3 games, Nick, are get-right games for our offense.
It is. It has to be. It's a tough way to start your season, and you're and I think we went for it twice. I don't mind it. You can do the math and say, well, if we went for it, we would be down 14-13, and maybe have a chance to win with a field goal. Sure. I think at that point, then you have to go for it. Your 14 goal yard for 1. And there's a couple things I don't like about it, though, is we rushed it. We rushed that play almost to try to get it off guard. They knew we were going to go for it. They went for it and took the lead with their play. I just feel like I would have loved some misdirection. I love the aggression, though. And I love that we tried it again, and we couldn't do it. That was the frustrating part, really, is that we just kept trying and kept failing right there. Like we were texting, vibes were calling, vibes were calling. this one's going, and but we were so close to scoring that it didn't make sense to went to the field, right? So you're right there. This is week 1. Forget there is no preseason, right? This was it. We didn't do a live scrimmage. This is the first time they're getting the teammates. So both teams played pretty sloppy for the most part, right? Again, if we play this game in October or even next week, I think it looks a lot different. It would be a lot more scoring. Where you started to see that in the second half. It was only 7-0 in the first half. It was what? 14. They're not a ton, obviously, but I don't hate his interception, really.
His fault, really.
But where you miss Quinn Ewing, and we talked about last year, he missed he's in the intermediate routes. We know Arch is better with the football and the legs, and we need him in that mode. He was so athletic and he was able to get away from some guys, and also that Arch or that Quinn couldn't do. Especially if we got hurt, but the intermediate, I think we win this game with Quinn Ewing. And I'm not doing that kind of thing. I'm just saying the intermediate game is so good that he would get you with the deep ball. And he would get you deep. Plus, he was really experienced and he played a lot of those big games like Michigan did and Bama and stuff. So, a young Quinn probably would have lost this game too. But an old they would have. And Archie's just going to get better from this. I hope he gets pissed off and mad. He never pouted and he was never sad on the sideline. And I love that. And I think this is going to make it better because it's something, on the first Saturday of college football. I think this will be better. You're right. These next 3 weeks are good right games. We're ready to play. We're ready to play Florida, get healthy, figure out some fourth downs, be aggressive, smoke the next 3 teams. But think about how this game would have gone if this was week 2. We had our get right game this week for both teams. Right? Maybe we still lose, right? But I think there's no point in losing. This floppiness. It was kind of like, oh shit, where are you shooting? Oh shit, we're down 7. Oh shit, we're down 14. Well, I like my guys, and then here's positive. Like, we're down 14 and you put our first right? We're down 14 and we're running a 2-minute drill and we score a touchdown. We make a stop. We get the ball. And that throw that he makes on 4th and 5 where it feels like big, but he's getting swallowed by a defender and throws it to Jack Andrews, who ends up being a couple yards short. I mean, damn. That not get you excited still? Let's see how we finish.
No, it does.
Go ahead. I was done.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry. I just thank you for making that point because that is the silver lining. Me and Nick are not in the morals victory business. We're not. But a lot of teams I've seen in the horseshoe when they're down 14-0, they mailed it in. Our guys epitomized the Texas fight all the way to the last play of the game. They fought, they scratched, they clawed. We just came up short. We just fell short against a team that executed better, had less mistakes than us. Like, we had 6 penalties for 50 yards. Ohio State had 2 penalties for 15 yards. In 4th down efficiency, we were 1 of 5 on 4th downs, while Ohio State was 1 of 2. We were 5 of 14 on 3rd downs. Ohio State wasn't much better. They were 3 of 12. They just made a couple more plays than we did, but we were there till the end. This game is a character-building game. Sark knows what he has in this team. He knows what players are going to step up, and we're just going to go back to a week of practice. Again, in the old college football format, this game would have doomed us. In the new college football format, you could have one loss and still be in great position to make the playoffs, Texas fans. And we are still in a great position. This loss is not going to hurt us with the college football playoff committee. It's going to prove to be better. It's going to prove to pay dividends down the road, playing a tough opponent all on the road. And there was a lot of things I'm encouraged with. Arch Manning was having pressure in his face, but he was still fighting all the way to the end. Jack Andrews was trying to break the tackle. Wingo made a lot of effort to catch that pass, even though it was behind him, and you could see his frustration. Our guys care. They want to be the best they can be, and our team showed a lot of character in this game.
I mean, absolutely. I think do. I think Ohio State showed a lot of character too. But it was a good freaking battle. You love to see it. I mean, I was disappointed, still disappointed, but it's college football. Right? It's kind of awesome. And two of these powerhouses, blue bloods, going after each other in week one. And there's more teams that are ready. You got to get credit to OSU. They're never afraid of it. See if they can get it done today. You know how I feel less confident. I think LSU reached in this one, but I was almost watching for me. I think this loss, maybe not, but us losing the title at the shoe, going one, does a lot more than you feeling Marshall. In week one and forward, not playing anybody in Tennessee, Georgia, obviously. It's going to be fine. I'm sure they'll take care of Tennessee, but like you said, this will get the dividends. We're not saying we want to do with the loss. You know, hopefully suck. I think we come out with a win next time, and hopefully we get another opportunity. We've got 4 losses in the last 2 seasons. 2 up into Ohio State, 2 up into Georgia. We haven't lost to anybody else. It's our first loss since 2022. I think the committee would look kindly on this loss. Let's just come to the table and we have a super lead in the SEC. SEC is already going to start playing soon. So by the time we play forward, there might be teams that already have double. Tennessee or Georgia will have one at that time. Weird. It's fine. It's not going to lose its play, but I think you're going to see more of Parker Livingston breakout. You're going to see more of attack injuries, focus. I feel like how they went after the second half. Why don't they do that with him like Ohio State did with him, like force feed him? Like they had him return a kick. Right, he had a fair catch in it, like give him the ball. Maybe they do that with Ringo, maybe they do it with injuries. Something to get like he's a playmaker, give him the ball, maybe a little bit more. Because you can put everything on it. Obviously, that 35 play that was that you want to like pull yourself. God damn, you want to run 20 yards. And who knows? If we're popping champagne right now, we win overtime. But it's not reality. It happens. Football, there's no preseason. You just got to hang your head high. Watch other football, and not everyone's going to do it. Not everyone's going to football. As a coach in little teams, how far do you think we'll fall? Is the question.
I think we should get credit for playing a game like this. So maybe we fall to like 4 or 5. I think. Like it's not.
I think so.
Out of the realm of
I think so. We lost by a touchdown.
Like I saw Indiana get.
Penn State.
Go ahead, Nick.
Penn State is they're number 2. They're playing about it. They're going to crush them. They're up big right now. And Florida State. Bama's tied. Florida State 7-7 right now. So we'll see that one go. Florida, call from Marshall. The one I'm got my eye on is LSU. LSU wins there. I was in there wins that game. That helps us out a lot. But we'll see. This is football. We didn't play our best, and neither did Ohio State, really. It's kind of an ugly game, really. But this game will be a lot different if we play this game later in the season. Hopefully we get another chance to get the loss. This makes me feel more confident. I was already pretty confident in this quarter, but I think Georgia, do they have the playmakers Ohio State does? Do they have the quarterback play? They're probably better than say it was today. I don't know. That team will be how they football together. Obviously, remember that Ohio State did today, but I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, like Ohio State showed why they're the defending national champions. They have the skills, they have the skill players, really good. They're gonna be a national championship contender again, and we were right there with them. I think our guys going to build confidence from this. They're going to figure out what they need to do better, which those things are. We need to figure out how to run the ball better. We still need to figure out the red zone issue. That was a problem again that happened today, and if we can find a way to rectify those issues, I think we'll be right there because we have the talent, and our defense is the one that's going to keep us afloat, especially when the offense struggles a little bit. But we're not going to face as good offensive teams as we did Ohio State, and they're going to be ready. And I think we're going to be clicking on all cylinders. You never want to peak too early, And this is good because this is our first road loss since 2022, which is absolutely crazy. Like we had the longest winning streak on the road, and that showed you the direction Sark and his program have been on. And I think that this is going to be the best thing for Texas, and this is going to light a fire under Texas because in the SEC now we know we have to be focused. Like we can only lose one more game here now going forward, and you don't want to see a focused Texas team. When we have that mindset, I think we're going to be really, really dangerous. So tough loss, but it was a good overall game, a low-scoring game, a field position game, a turnover game, and Texas just fell short. So Nick, overall, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. So what do you think now? What are you looking for next week when we play San Jose State?
Just eliminate the stoppage. That's going to be a game that's a get-right game. Hopefully we put up points on it. Put up a lot of points on let's win that game. Let's win early. Let's not skip ourselves too much. And then we're 1-1. We're back in the win column, and the panic button is over. Teams are going to keep themselves, put yourself right back into this is not even September. We're still August, so there's a whole season left to be played. But more specifically, getting Jack injuries, I also wonder, how much concern used there's been reports when we played Michigan, he didn't use all the tricks in the bag that he didn't want to, use with when we played Georgia later that year. So maybe he's doing that as well. And he's like, well, I'm not going to do this trying to lose, but I didn't want to use all his tricks. Part of it, early in the past, put the running backs up there. We got to feed Ryan Wingo early. I think Ryan Wingo got more than he was today. And Ryan going against probably the number one of the two defense in the country. Some order, it's got to be us, Georgia, and Ohio State. I would say number two, and he did damn good there. It's just those things get you right, and then luckily we have two more of those to get right before we play for it, and then.
Oh, for sure, because the last 2 years when we beat Alabama and we beat Michigan, that was in week 2, so we had a tune-up game before then. This week we did it. Next year, actually, Nick, when Ohio State comes to Austin, that's going to be week 2. So we'll see Julian Sain and Jeremiah Smith again, but in our turf in Austin, Texas. But again, congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes for winning this game. And like Nick said, we hope to see them again in the playoffs. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode of Touchdown Texas. Be sure to follow us on our social media channels at Touchdown_Texas. We hope you enjoyed the live stream on TikTok. We had a live stream at halftime, and then Nick went live after the game. We hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for the Texas and Ohio State fans for joining that stream. Just a quick programming note. I'm going to be out of the country starting this week, so we're not going to be doing a show until September 13th or 14th. We're playing San Jose State, so there's going to be no show for that, but we'll pick it back up in about 2 weeks. But be sure to follow our social media channels. We're going to keep the content flowing. I appreciate you, Nick, for your analysis, and thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And we're both signing off from Atlanta. Thank you so much, and